Alright guys, this is our weekly solo player's guide to the Nightfall. Just a quick note, this is the direction you want to go when you first spawn into this Nightfall. It is the Saber Strike, and this path will take you a whole lot less time than going around the ships and blah blah blah. But anyways, as you can see, we are doing this version with the Warlock. Maybe, I do say maybe this week for the Titan and Hunter, just because it is the Saber, Fallen Saber Strike, and it is a major pain in the butt. So, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Links will be in the description, or I will have a huge full caps note saying no Hunter, no Titan guides. But with Daybreak, I don't see that happening. But let's go ahead and get into the modifiers, and then we'll hit up this guide. Modifiers include solar burn. Solar damage from any source is greatly increased. Ironclad, more enemies have shields. Airborne, players deal more damage while in the air. Exposure, Guardian shields are increased but do not replenish. And Daybreak, the darkness grows stronger and so do you. Form a fire team of 3, or if you're watching this video you're probably doing it solo. And unleash your light with greatly increased ability recharge, which if you've ever played Mayhem Strike, Mayhem Clash, Mayhem Rumble, Mayhem whatever in the Crucible, same thing, but PvE style. So as far as setup goes, of course we are rocking the Sun Singer. Of course we got the Sunbreakers, increases the duration of your solar grenade while gaining an additional solar grenade charge. And speed reload with rockets. Didn't notice that before. Alright, Vision of Confluence Adept. If you do not have an Adept weapon, go ahead and I would honestly say for the first part, use a hand cannon or a high-powered scout rifle. Actually, you know what? That just goes for the whole strike. So something like the Hand of Judgment, or what's another good one? I think it's the Cicadas from the Gunsmith and the Taluna. Those are pretty decent things you want to be using. Palindrome. I wouldn't really recommend hand cannons unless it's like I said, like the first bit or maybe even the middle bit where it's, you know, close quarters, you're fighting things up close. Otherwise you definitely want a scout rifle. But if you do, Vision of Confluence is great. If you have Genesis Chain Adept, I think that's also solar if I remember correctly. And that also does additional damage to Fallen, which this version of the strike is. So you can be doing a butt ton of damage with that. What else? The Fever and Remedy, the hand cannon, that's not bad. That also will do additional damage to Fallen. But anyways, Devil's Dawn is what I'm using. This also does bonus damage to fallen enemies. So if you don't have a raid sniper, this sniper right here will work just fine. It actually work really well as long as it's solar. And then we're using Hezen Vengeance, and if you're using a legendary, go ahead and rock Galahorn. That would do an insane amount of damage. I can see that being really good. If you don't have Devil's Dawn, what could you use? Event Horizon, that's also really good. Ex Machina from the raid is also really good. If you're using legendaries all around, Black Spindle is great. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into the setup, which is Touch of Flame. All grenades ignite enemies, causing damage over time, which pretty much it just burns them, which is awesome. Viking Funeral. You definitely want this and this combined. If you're not going to use Touch of Flame or Viking Funeral, if you're going to say use Radiant Will, increases the duration of Radiance, which isn't a bad option to be honest, it's really not. I would go ahead and use Angel of Light. Aiming your weapon while in the air will hold you in place for a short time. With Airborne, that kicks in a ton of damage. So if you're having troubles maybe taking out ads with your grenades, go ahead and pop Angel of Light on and Radiant Will, and you will do a butt ton of damage. But this is the setup we're going with. Touch of Flame, Viking Funeral, targets afflicted with Ignite, which is Touch of Flame, take more damage from all sources, stacks up to 3 times. So pretty much with this and this, you're going to do a ton of damage from anything you're throwing at them. Primary weapons, special weapons, heavy weapons, melees, anything. So if you're rocking this, rock this. Otherwise, I would go, like I said, Radiant Will and Angel of Light. Now, if you want to use this and this, but don't have the Sunbreakers, for example, go ahead and pop on Gift of the Sun. I know it takes away your Touch of Flame, but it'll still do a pretty good amount of damage with Viking Funeral. So I like to use Flame Shield. Damaging an enemy with your melee reduces incoming damage for a short time. I've never actually used Brimstone. That would be really interesting to see. I might try that later. But yeah, I've always run Flame Shield, never run anything else. Of course, Fireborn or Self-Res Radiance can now be activated from beyond the grave. Doing so returns you to life. Radiance duration is reduced, which is why I say you might want to use Radiant Will. Just depends on who you are as a Warlock. And same thing as with the jumps, player's choice. And with this build, and really this strike, you want to be running solar grenades, and you'll see why in the strike. But let's go ahead and get into the guide. Alright, so once you get here, it's a pretty good time to pop a heavy synth if you need to. Make sure all your weapons are reloaded, fully loaded, fully stocked. And then go ahead and set up the rest of the strike. As you can see, I'm looking around, I'm praying, please be Hive, don't be Taken. But you get the Fallen, which isn't half as bad as the Taken. The Taken version of this, you wouldn't be watching this right now because I wouldn't have done it. The Taken version of this strike is horrible to do solo. It is still to this day, I think, the only strike that I can't actually solo. But once these guys start coming down, go ahead and start popping your grenades. You'll get the next wave, and then like these first 2 waves you want to take down as quickly as possible. So, or these first 2 ships, as you say, because since there's multiple waves of enemies. But there's going to be quite a few majors, it seems like. So go ahead and really, you want to throw your grenades a lot. Otherwise, just go ahead and take out whatever you can. Throw your grenades. Take these guys out. Boom, boom. And with the next ship, try and take out the captains before they land. And then just make sure you stay in this circle as much as possible, because I think I finished it with 25 seconds left. And I almost never leave this circle. So you definitely want to stay inside as much as humanly possible. You also want to take these captains out, like I said, preferably before they fall. So if you have like a rocket launcher, you can shoot it down then. That probably would have actually been a whole lot smarter. I'll try to remember that for my next guide. But yeah, go ahead and take these guys out. They do have shotguns which do solar damage, so be very careful with that. And as you can see, they were majors, which makes them a huge threat as well. Pretty much anything. As you can see, that ship's already spawned in and shooting at me, which is why you want to do that one as quick as possible. Go ahead and throw your grenades. And stay on the ground as much as possible. Yes, there's airborne, but with this part, if you jump too high up, it will cancel out your timer and it'll take longer. So the longer you're in the air, after an extent, you'll actually cancel out your transmitting war stat timer, and you might have to do this bit all over again, because once the time runs out, that's it. So like I said, I think I finished it with 25 seconds. So definitely use this war stat for cover. And then you'll, of course, use self-res if you have to. And then you should be pretty decently good to go. I was actually really surprised how easy this bit was with the Warlock. I know it will not be that easy on the other two if I can get them done. But once you get that done, go ahead and drop down here and open up the door. Now this room can be a little tricky. Go ahead and get the exploder shanks down first, and then I would say deal with the mob on the left first, just because they're your immediate threat. They're right there. And then rockets here would actually be very smart, because there's quite a few shotguns, as you can see. And of course, oh, I don't miss it. Nice. But go ahead and just take them out as easily, as quickly as possible. As you can see, I'm starting to freak out a little bit there. See the shotguns coming at me. But as long as you stay calm, you shouldn't have anything to worry about. Let's go ahead and do your thing. Take your time, honestly. As you can see, I still got 24 minutes. So you should have about the same amount of time. And with Daybreak, feel free to use your abilities as often as you feel comfortable with, to be honest. I would say self-res, however. Boom, boom, and we go into the next part. Alright, once those doors open up, take both of those guys out, and then go ahead and drop down. Now this is the part, if you haven't switched over from a hand cannon to a scout rifle already, this is probably the spot that you want to do it at. Remember, your health is not regenerating as well, so be very careful with these arc streams. Make sure your weapons are reloaded. As soon as that one passes, go ahead and jump down, or grab the thing, and pretty much just play football with it. That's how I like to see it. And there you go. As long as you're bunny hopping, or whatever they call it these days, you should be able to do it pretty quickly without having to worry about exploder shanks and all that. This next room can also be a little tricky. Luckily, Daybreak and self-res saved me, because I think this is where I blow myself up with my rocket. Professional as always. Go ahead and just throw your grenades. Throw them, throw them, throw them. There is a captain with a shotgun, which is what's freaking me out a little bit. This is definitely where I kill myself with my grenade. Only the professionals do it that way. Don't want to make sure I don't have my super held for too long. You know what I mean? I really want to take advantage of that Daybreak modifier. Anyways, go ahead and just lob your grenades right there. It should take everything out pretty decently quick. Feel free to jump in the air while you do that as well. Go ahead and jump down. I kill everything over here. You don't have to. I just do it for the points. Not that we're going to need it. As you can see, we're still in the 21.5 minute time. So we're killing this strike, which is way better than I thought we'd be doing. So it's pretty incredible I did it this fast. If you're not quite this fast, don't feel bad, because I honestly don't know how I did it this fast. But anyways, once you kill everything, or if you just want to skip right on through, go ahead and go through this door right here, and we'll get into the boss fight with 21 minutes left. Freaking fantastic. Alright, so once you come down here, go ahead, you can snipe them, you can throw a grenade at him. There's going to be two servitors, one to your left and one to the right. I always like to take this one out first. This is the right hand side, just because he's right here at us. And this guy, he's not going to hit much of anything just because he's so far away. And then come running back here. This is actually going to be your little safety zone for the first bit. Now, with solar, this is very important. If you don't listen to anything else I'm saying, because I am kind of rambling on, I understand. If you tune me out a bit and just mute the video or whatever. That little cannon on the top of his head in this first little wave does solar damage. You do not want to get hit by that cannon. So stay behind this pillar, take out the adds if you need to, but throw your grenades and stay out of sight of him, because if he hits that, you're gone. If you don't have self-res, you gotta start over. So that is probably the most important part to listen to for this entire strike, to be honest. That'll save you so much time just by not getting hit by that. Alright, and then once that part is done, go ahead and run all the way across the room. Pop that heavy, only if you have to. If you don't have to, if you still got a few rockets, I would hold on to it, honestly. As you can see, we already have gold completion medal, which is awesome. So now even if we go with 1 second left, we'll get that sunrise bounty, which is always a great feeling to not have to feel rushed to get that. So now all you really have to do is worry about exploder shanks and doing bit damage to the boss, which is pretty awesome. So go ahead and get him down to about, I don't know, a third health, I think it was. And then just destroy him. Using Heads and Vengeance because it's got 6 rockets, it's got cluster bombs, and it's solar. So it's doing a whole ton of damage. And rockets, a whole lot of damage in a short time. Look at that. Bam. Dead. Done. Get those rewards. Like the video if you did so, in fact, like it, found it helpful, useful, inspirational, I don't know. Hit the like button. And then let's take a look at our rewards. But other than that, guys, tell me what you got from Nightfall in the description box below, and I will talk to you later.
We can come back for them when you're ready. Let's get you home.